What's up everybody, welcome to my shop. In this video I'm going to show you how to glue 2x4s on their face and create Valentine's hearts. So the deal is, every once in a while I get the opportunity to make projects for some ladies in the area that have a Pinterest party. In this particular one I'm making hearts. In a previous video that I'll link to this one, I made pumpkins for Halloween. So let's jump into it and get started. So making 24 hearts total. And the larger hearts are going to be 9 by 9, and the smaller hearts are going to be 5 inches by 5 inches. So here I'm breaking the 2x4s down to a manageable size. Just wanted to make sure I didn't have a bunch of scrap, so I did measure to where it would be cut off in a way that I would get my 9-inch pieces out of these particular boards. After I had them cut to a manageable size, I went over to the table saw sled and I set up a stop block at 9 inches and began cutting the blanks to make the 9 by 9 hearts. And these are going to be 6 layers high, so I needed quite a few. And here, my lovely daughter is doing calculus over there to make sure these projects are done right, so I hope she did the math right. So glad she's doing the math because I know I'm not good at it. And lastly, I set up a stop block at 5 inches and cut all these smaller hearts out. And these ones are going to be 4 layers high, however they will end up close to about 5 by 5. And next we'll glue them all up. And with a very sophisticated glue pattern, I glued these up in bunches, and that way I can get, in this particular case here, I got 4 hearts glued together with 1 clamp, and that saved me a lot of time, and it saved me from figuring out how to clamp them all because it just took too many clamps. So when I got them into the clamps, I just tried to make sure everything stayed flush with each other, and they started to slide a little bit, but you'll just have to work with them a little bit, a few taps here and there. Just keep in mind here you're going to be cutting shapes out, they don't need to be perfect. And now I have all the 5 by 5 hearts glued together, and I set those off to the side to set up and dry. And next I will start gluing all the 9 by 9 hearts together. And again, the same as before, I tried to get them all flush and even. And as I put a little pressure on the clamps, I had to tap a few as they slid. And again, I'm not trying to get them completely perfect. And that's that sophisticated glue pattern again. Gotta go to school to learn how to do that. When I first started gluing these blanks up, I did try to rush it a little bit. I was worried about the glue setting up, but you'll actually have more time than you think, especially if you don't spend too much time spreading the glue. Just get enough on there, and you really don't want too much squeezing out anyhow. On the small 5 by 5 hearts, I did put too much glue on, and it just makes more work later on. So just try to keep glue towards the center of your 2x4 and you won't get a lot squeezing out. I set these off to the side and I waited maybe 3 or 4 hours for them to set up. And while those blanks were setting up, I figured out what the shapes were going to be, and I kept in mind here you do want a flat edge on either side of your heart for the heart to actually stand up on its edge. So when I got that figured out, I cut out the shape, and now it's time to cut them out. So when I took them to the bandsaw, the first thing I would do is cut out basically a 90-degree section where the heart comes together in the center at the top. And that would just save you from having to work real hard to get into that corner. And then I went around all the edges after that and cut out the rest of the shape. take your time with cutting it out. It'll be good for the blade on your bandsaw. And also, the more patience you have in this step, you'll have less sanding to do when you get to that step. So when you have 24 hearts to cut out on the bandsaw, just throw on your favorite music if you got some work tunes and just get to work. Before you know it, you'll have them all cut out. And then you can be all sanded. So first thing I did here is I sanded all the faces to get any glue squeeze out off, and kind of cleaned up the faces so it'll take paint later on. And then I moved down to the curves, and really what you want to try doing is not stay in one place for too long, and you'll get a consistent curve all the way around. One trick too I did was I moved the tracking of the belt over to the edge, and that allowed me to get into that corner at the top. So again, what do you do when you got 24 hearts to sand? Just throw on some tunes and get to work, and hopefully it doesn't take you too long. So it's about time to wrap these up and send them on their way. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. I know this isn't what you would call fine woodworking, but every once in a while it's nice to do a quick project and get a little practice on the bandsaw. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see more videos in the future, please click subscribe and hit the bell notification to get notified when I put out new videos. And until next time, we'll see you later.